Hi friends, welcome back to Ohio Tropics, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I'm going to wake up my geraniums. I've had 5 potted geranium plants stored for the winter time in the dark in cool temperatures, probably in the 50s or so Fahrenheit, with no water all winter, and they survived. And as you can see, they're starting to wake up. Now there are multiple ways to overwinter your geraniums, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to spruce up my geraniums and get them ready to bloom when the weather gets warmer. So the first thing that I'm going to do is trim off anything that's dead. So these old flower stalks, dead leaves, I'm going to trim all of that off and being very careful not to harm any of the new growth. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you the results when this is done. Okay, now this one already looks a lot better. As you can see, this is actually about to start blooming. So I don't want the plant to waste any energy on producing flowers at this point because I want the plant and the leaves to grow. So I'm going to trim all of the flower buds off, and I'm going to check the canes. So most of the canes are nice and healthy. There is one here that I'm going to prune back because it's about half of it's dead, and I'm going to show you up close how I prune it. So here is the flower stalk. I'm just going to trim it off. Be careful not to harm any leaves. I'm just going to go as low as I can go. Here's another one. So I'm just going to trim that off. And here's another. Trim that off. So this stem here, you can see this is all dried up and shriveled. And so what I'm going to do is prune it all the way back to where I see a bud. And you can see that there's a bud right here, this greenery here. So I'm just going to trim all of this off a little bit above that point. And you can see there's this new growth here. And then there's another new growth here, and these will just continue to grow. There's another example. This is all shriveled up and dried up. So if I go all the way down, I can see some indication of greenery right here. There's a bud right there at the tip of my pruners that's going to start growing. So I'm going to prune it just a little bit above that. A little hard to see, but you can see right here at the tip of my pruners, that's going to be a new branch. Okay, so I'm happy with this one for right now. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the plant out of its pot. And I have this potting mat here that I love. And it's great because the edges just snap together and you can contain your mess. So when I repot, I love using this. I'll include a link to it in the description of this video if you want to get your own. It's super inexpensive and it really makes things a lot easier. So the first thing I like to do is take a knife, and you may not need to do this for yours, but I like to run it around the perimeter of the pot. Just be careful you're not breaking any leaves or branches. So go all the way around, and I can already feel it loosening up a little bit. And this one was very root bound last summer. Now I'm going to gently tip the pot over and grasp the plant at the base, and here we go. It's coming out. Just be very careful. There we go. Perfect. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to loosen the root ball, and I'm going to end up removing actually quite a bit of this soil. So you can see that the soil on top actually is quite loose already. Here's some new growth here. I'm going to be careful of that. So I'm just going to keep going around, and you might be surprised how much of the soil you're going to end up taking off. I'm not going to take all of it off. I'm just going to keep loosening those roots. Right here I'm using 3 parts of just all-purpose potting mix. You can use whatever potting mix you'd like. Miracle-Gro, Espoma, whatever you'd like. And then I have 1 part of perlite. This is a larger perlite. I prefer the larger perlite because it gives the potting mix more aeration. And here I have some Osmocote, which is a slow-release fertilizer. And this will actually fertilize your plant with every watering. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix all of this up together, and I'll use it. As far as this old potting mix goes, I'm just going to dump it in my garden and dig it into the soil. Okay, so first I'm going to put some potting mix at the bottom of the pot, and I'm going to gently lift my plant and test the level. So I want it to stay growing at the same level that it was before. So the soil line should go about right here or so. So I'm going to gently put this in. This is the exact same pot that I took it out of. So I need a little bit more soil here. Put in more, try it again. That seems about right. And I'll just continue to fill it in. And this is a nice, nutritious, fresh soil, so it'll give the plant a nice start to the season. And the additional Osmocote fertilizer that I added will fertilize your plant every time you water. So it'll slowly, it's a time release fertilizer that will slowly give your plant nutrients that it needs with every watering. Okay, and then once I go all the way around, I'm just going to be careful not to break anything, and I will gently press the soil down, make sure that there's not any large air pockets. And I'm almost done here, and it's really as easy as that. And lastly, I'm going to give it a little water. Let it all drain away. Okay, now what do you do from here? So as you can see, this tender new growth is very tender and very light green. This can easily burn in the sun. Now, geraniums love sun, but when you take them out of dormancy and they have this really tender new growth, you just want to be careful. So when I took my plants out of the dark, I put them outside in a sheltered area. There's a roof over this area here in this outbuilding, in complete shade for a few days. And then gradually you'll want to increase the amount of direct sun so that you don't burn your plants. And this will ease the transition. And you'll want to do this slowly, and eventually you'll see the leaves start to darken up a little bit until they're fully accustomed to the light. So don't put them in direct sun right away. Gradually acclimate them until they get stronger. And I'm actually going to put mine in my greenhouse because we're going to have temperatures below freezing, but you can put yours in a sunny window, or if you don't have any really sunny windows, you can put them under grow lights. When the temperatures stay consistently, let's say 40 degrees Fahrenheit or so and above, I will leave them outside permanently because I don't have that much room in my greenhouse. And I don't have much room indoors in my house either, so that's why I stored them dormant over the winter time. Some people ask, well, why don't you just put it by a window? We can only have so many plants indoors and in our growing spaces. So I have 4 more here that I need to work on, and I just overwinter them right in their pots, although you can overwinter them bare root if you want, in a landscape bag with no soil at all. Some people also hang them upside down, bare root, in a cool, dry place, cool, dry, and dark place. How do you overwinter yours? Comment below and let me know. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.